Okay, Chrissy, thank you. After several explosions at a nuclear power plant in Japan over the past few days, some San Diegans want to know, are we safe here? Joining us right now by phone to talk more about the concerns about nuclear power in California is Congressman Brian Bilbray. Congressman, good morning. Thanks for taking the time.
Great to be with you, Raul.
Okay, let's just get the first question out of the way. Do you feel that nuclear power is a safe option for us here in California?
It's not only safe, it's an essential part of our mix. If we're going to have clean energy that's American-made, it's essential. Even the UN Council on Climate Change says we've got to make sure we include it in our energy independence mix.
Certainly. I mean, from the sounds of it, obviously, your feelings on nuclear power haven't changed since what's happened in Japan. You can certainly understand when the laymen see these explosions at a nuclear plant in Japan, you get concerned naturally, and you drive by San Onofre all the time up and down the 5 freeway. What do you tell people to alleviate, to maybe put them at ease a bit, to stress the safety of nuclear power in the United States?
Well, the first thing we've got to understand, when an extraordinary event that, Japan was hit by an earthquake 10 times bigger than San Francisco in 1806. This was a huge event. And even the earthquake did not cause a problem with the reactors. The problem is that the huge tsunami that followed ended up hitting, and their tsunami wall was only 10 foot tall. Ours at San Onofre is 30 foot tall, and the electrical generation facilities are not exposed to tidal waves like they were in Japan. They're actually in San Onofre. They're back into the hillside in a sealed bunker. So literally, it's protected from that kind of event. And so we've really kind of addressed that. And remember too that our earthquake fault is 80, 100 miles east of us inland. If we have a major earthquake here, it will not create the tsunami situation that you have there, where you have your major earthquake fault is just a few miles offshore where the ocean go in there. So we're really sitting in a much different situation, much better situation, and frankly, we are a much better engineered situation.
In assessing the safety, though, I get the feeling, had I asked the Japanese officials the similar questions a week ago, they probably would have answered in the affirmative the same way, with the same amount of confidence. How can we have that confidence? You can't tell me it's 100% assurances.
Oh, nothing's 100%. You got to remember, you got projections of 10,000 people dying, Raul, being dead in Japan right now. We reach a magnitude 9 in California. There's going to be a whole lot of things going wrong, but probably one of the safest things we have in a registered 9 would be our nuclear power plants, as opposed to the fact that our buildings, our freeways, our lakes, our dams, none of that would be safe. And frankly, there is always a degree of risk, but the point being, as San Diegans and Californians, there's a lot more danger from a lot of other things that would end up causing loss of human life than our power generation capabilities. And that is one of those things we've got to look at. And we've also got to look at the fact that we're moving forward, too, with the fact that advancements moving forward. The Japanese are working with a reactor that is 60 to 40 years old, and hopefully we will see our country moving into what's 4th generation, where you don't even have the possibility of these things going on, because the fuel is put in a configuration where it never can get up to the 300 centigrade, where you end up having the hydrogen separating from water and then becoming an explosive gas. Which is kind of sad, because if you think about this, that same hydrogen that we see blow up that building is what a lot of scientists say it could be powering our cars in the future. And these are all situations that we've got to be willing to get good science and make sure that we approach it right. But this incident in Japan is so much bigger than anybody would ever see in the United States that we know of.
Congressman, if I can interrupt, I mean, the reason you know so much about this, you're on the House Energy and Commerce Committee. We know that. There are hearings going on as we speak. These were set before the earthquake and the tsunami, of course, in Japan. Quickly summarize for us what we can expect from these meetings, because we know the President, yourself, and Stephen Chu, our Energy Secretary, we're pushing for more nuclear power to help us here in this country. What is happening at these hearings today, and especially in light of Japan? Have things changed of what we can expect from the hearings?
Well, look, you got to understand that the President and the Secretary of Energy have been very good on the leadership of saying, let's let cooler heads, let's not panic. There are those in Washington, D.C. that have a vested interest of seeing nuclear destroyed. And they're not necessarily environmental community. The traditional opposition to nuclear is now has moved away from the environmental community and actually other industries that see economic and monetary reasons to get America not to go with this energy independent strategy, this clean local power. They actually have other agendas, and that's one of the biggest concerns you have. You have vested interests that are looking to exploit this situation, try to scare the hell out of the American people, and try to move the American people away from a clean, independent strategy. And nuclear power has to be part of that, as the President and the Secretary have said clearly. And we've got to make sure that science, not fear, drives our energy policy and our environmental policies.
Indeed. And by the way, Congressman, we were just looking in live at this hearing with Energy Secretary Stephen Chu, and he's already said this morning, quote, nuclear energy also has an important role to play in America's energy portfolio. Congressman Brian Bilbray, thank you for taking the time this morning from your busy schedule. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.